Welcome to a meeting, turn on the mic. Welcome to a meeting of the Holiday Island Board of Commissioners. Today is Monday, December 18. This is a business meeting of the board held in public. The board is committed to disclosure of the business activities of the district to the public, as well as the public's ability to make comments at public meetings. On behalf of the Holiday Island Board of Commissioners, I call this meeting to order. I want to remind all in attendance that the Board of Commissioners acts as a governing body, whereas the district manager is responsible for the day-to-day operations of the district. The purpose of the board, as elected representatives of the property owners, is to provide direction to the district manager and assure the fiscal solvency of the district. It is not the responsibility of the commissioners to become involved in the daily operations of the district. Let us stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Commissioner Stamps, will you please call the roll?
I will. Commissioner Childress,
Here.
Commissioner Dyer,
Absent.
Commissioner Brown,
Here.
Commissioner Surratt,
Here.
Commissioner Stamps is here.
With 4 commissioners present, I declare a quorum. And I'm going to deviate a little bit from the agenda because Commissioner Dyer sent a note that I would like to share with you. As soon as I put my hands on it again. Regrettably, I will be unable to attend today's meeting, my last as a commissioner. I would like to extend my appreciation to everyone who helped make the past 3 years productive for the district. Without the continued support of the community, the tireless work of the district employees, and the combined effort of the board, we would not have been able to realize so many positive achievements. Improvements made in the water and sewer systems, the road system, upgrades to critical fire department apparatus, and operational improvements made to our important amenities all serve to ensure the long-term future of Holiday Island. While the list of improvements this board has authorized may be lengthy, our eye remains vigilant towards both planning and execution. All improvements were made without adding any indebtedness to the district. District Manager Danny Presley and the administrative staff should be recognized to their fiduciary responsibility. To the new board, I offer this advice: listen and learn. Holiday Island and the entire Suburban Improvement District community management. That's what happens when you read somebody else's writing. Holiday Island and the entire Suburban Improvement District community management concepts are unique. Read and reread and understand Title 14, Chapter 92 of the Arkansas Code. Ask questions, especially from staff members. They have decades of experience and help guide your understanding. Also, let the Holiday Island regulations guide much of what you do. Finally, don't be distracted by a few local critics. Let your actions be driven by what is best for the entire community and, of course, your conscience. Signed, Bob Dyer. And Sherry will give this to you to add to the minutes. Commissioners, you've had an opportunity to review the emailed agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
I'll second that.
All in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it and the agenda is approved. Commissioners, You have received by email the minutes of the November 20 special meeting and the November 27 regular meeting. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes as emailed?
I reviewed all of the minutes and make a motion to approve as submitted.
I'll second that.
It's been moved by Commissioner Childers and seconded by Commissioner Brown to approve the minutes. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
The minutes of those two meetings are approved. We will now proceed to the swearing in of two new district commissioners. We are pleased to have Doug Pinkley and Randy Ralph newly elected to the Board of Commissioners. Please rise while the Honorable Jack Beaton, Justice of the Peace of the Quorum Court, administers the oath of office to our new commissioners. Jack, do you want to get behind the mic? Turn on the microphone and stand there, please.
Press the button behind it.
I'm going to take pictures.
Good, Doug? Okay. All right. Do you, Douglas Binkley, do you render it all, do solemnly swear that you will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution and the laws of the state of Arkansas, that you will bear true faith and allegiance to the same and defend them against all enemies whatsoever, and that you will faithfully and impartially discharge the duties of the office of Commissioners of the Holiday Island Improvement District, Carroll County, state of Arkansas, according to the best of your abilities, so help you God. Congratulations.
Okay, gentlemen, got chairs here ready for you. Miss Suzanne, don't sit down.
You're up here.
Come on up. Jack? Unfortunately, Mr. Dyer couldn't be here today, but Commissioner Childers, Danny Wood has a few words to say.
I just want to thank you for your service. You have been a fantastic leader. Your administrative experience as a school administrator is very evident, and I could certainly tell that in just working with you on the day-to-day, operations of the district. You were always available and always gave sound advice on everything. And I just appreciate your leadership and your service to the district. And I'll certainly miss working with you. And Bob Dyer, and our prayers are with him as he's going through these medical procedures today. Thank you. Ms. Jones.
I just want to say personally, I joined the board in 2022 and was elected secretary. The next year, Bob Dyer told me it was my turn in the barrel, and I became the chairman. Our board accomplished a lot. I couldn't have done it without you and the other commissioners, and we made a good team. Thank you for your service. Announcements. Anyone have announcements? Barb Kuhn, we are moving on to public comments. Barb Kuhn, do you have something to say, please?
Yes. Barb Kuhn, 62 Holiday Island Drive. I just have a question on the order of business here. In prior elections, the new commissioners are sworn in and seated a couple of days after the election. That didn't happen this time. I see on the agenda that the new board will not be electing officers until the fourth position. I'm just wondering why we changed how we do it.
Okay, I will answer your questions. In the December 2021 meeting, it was held the Monday after the election closed. Last year, December of 2022, the initiation was done at the regular meeting. It was done almost 2 weeks after the election closed. So the idea that we've always done it that way hasn't been true for the last 2 years. As to why the agenda reads the way it does, in my opinion, we get the easy stuff out of the way, and then we go on to the election. It doesn't alter who can vote. It doesn't make any difference about since the new business comes, the executive session, everything else is, we're all equal here for now.
Right.
So those are the answers to your question. And no one else. Making it easy on us here today. The district is lucky to have managers in every department who never stop looking for the most cost-effective options. Janice Murphy, manager of the sports complex, has found a less expensive, less invasive product for the pool decking. Janice, will you please let the board, please tell the board about the product, the installation, and the cost?
Janice Murphy, 7 Hillcrest Drive, and also from the Holiday Island Sports Complex. Okay. As people know who come to the pool, the decking around the pool was done back in, my best guess is 2006 or 2007. It was done before I started in 2008. I took the liberty of calling Doug Joyce, and some of you remember Doug Joyce, and asked him why we covered it with rubber rock, okay? What was the nature of the concrete underneath it? And what he could remember, he said it had been chipping, it had been uneven, there were cracks, there were people complaining that they were cutting their feet on the surface of the concrete. So this product that we put on, this rubber rock, and some of you know Vi Elens too, they used to live here. Her husband and their son came up from either it was Ohio or someplace with this company that put this product down. And, you know, I'd say it lasted quite well for the first, 10 years or whatever. And then, unfortunately, I guess there was some maintenance that should have been done to this thing pretty much on a yearly basis, where a company would come in, reseal it, clean it off, reseal it, and it probably could have extended the life of this. But now we're, close to 20 years of this stuff. It is pilling. The little balls are all coming apart, falling in the pool, on people's feet. There are sections that are completely lifting off as well. I did call a company that I had a quote from back in 21 that would have resealed it, but they also had given me a quote, not reseal it, to replace it, because it was, when I sent him the pictures, there was 20% too much. You can only redo it if you had less than 20% of problem. When he saw the pictures, he said that's not a repair, that would be a complete removal and redo it again. Well, back then, the total to remove it, and probably to redo it again, would have somewhere been in the vicinity of $130,000. This year, I called the gentleman back again. He had all the quotes, and I have copies of it too. And I asked what would it cost to remove it. And he gave me a figure of $28,820 just to remove that covering, and then we don't know how bad the concrete would be underneath it. So I started doing some checking. There's got to be something that we could do. I found this product on American floor mats. It is called Duragrid Deck Matting. It comes in a 12 by 12 tile. As you can see, it's flexible. It moves. You have edging around it. What I'm not looking at, there's no way you can really cover the entire area in this because you have to cut around a lot of stuff. So we measured it like from the lean-to, the existing shade, which when you hit the shade area, this decking is pretty good because it hasn't been exposed to your sun and your chemicals. So you go along that line, back to the back fence over there by the pump room, then you come up this way and go in front of the light poles, okay, because that light pole thing, but then again, when you get that close, or that distance away from the pool, it's still pretty good. So in essence, you're making a big mat around the pool. And you put edging around the coping of the pool and then around the outsides of it. Now, and that's basically what it looks like. And you know, flipping it all together. Those people, when my son is visiting me, he's a contractor from up in Wisconsin, so we went out and measured this whole thing one Sunday afternoon, and we came up with a pretty good figure of what we would need. I sent all that picture and everything to this company. I'm working with somebody named Jordan Taylor, and he came back with a figure. First figure was higher, and then I said, well, what about no shipping, and what about, you know, a discount? So he did that, and came back with a figure just over $18,000, because there is about 6,000, close to, when you have like 5,022 square foot around the pool. And I'm still waiting for him to call me back to give me a little bit more that would go outside the pool towards the new concrete. There's a pad out there that, through the fence from the big pool to the building, there's new concrete, but this other stuff goes up to that point. So I was looking for that quote too, but I haven't got it yet. Now, I also went online yesterday. There are other places too, which I will continue to call when I get down to work. One is called Rubber Flooring Incorporated, with their product, ProFlow Drain Tiles, which is basically the same thing, okay? And then there's another one called GreatMats.com, and they have also pulled that coverage. This quote I got from American Floor Mats is good until January 30th, okay? That will stay in place until January 30th. I can get a hold of these other people and, you know, see what their product is and see what kind of pricing they have, and then I can, you know, bring that back. This is something that our maintenance department, you know, our two guys and Kim, probably, it's a puzzle. It's putting things together and making it work around. It's a puzzle. So installation would probably fall to them during regular, you know, hours of working, and we'll get it done if that's the way the board wants to go. Most inexpensive would be this. Otherwise, you're tearing up a bunch of covering on that decking, and we don't know what's underneath it, for sure. And this is just one of the things I found to, you know, probably fix something. You know, we always Band-Aid things. This is probably a really big Band-Aid that might work for a while.
And this is the same material, the same company that provided the material for the pickleball courts.
No.
Oh, I thought that's what you told me.
No,
that-
the pickleball codes, that part, they don't have this kind of type
Oh,
of
okay,
pickleball.
all right, I'm
They
sorry, I
can-
misunderstood
yeah,
what you
yeah.
told me. I thought it was the same. And the other thing we talked about was that the small pool is less than half of the area
That is
of the
correct.
big pool.
That's correct.
And so if we assume $20,000 for the big pool, we can safely assume $10,000 for the small pool, or less.
Probably or less. The problem with the small pool is it is such an odd shape. This big one, you have a rectangle. You
Okay.
can go like this. When you get to that small pool,
Okay.
and you have, I think my drawing had like 9 corners.
Okay,
And then all different lengths. It would be
so,
a little bit difficult to put it around that pool. I mean,
okay, all right. I just thought that was a,
yeah, and once we would get this one done, we would probably see how easy it was to do that, and maybe we could, you know, enclose that. We were looking at it the other day, we went over there and walked around, and yes, there's some cracks in it, but it's not flaking or breaking. It's an exposed aggregate on that side, so it's rougher to begin with, so people don't slip on it very easily. And we're gonna replace, there's 2x4s or wood between the cracks. And one of the guys came up with, there's something between, it's like a round rubber thing that you put in, and then you put, you know, so to make it look better and really clean it up, just for now, you know,
Okay.
just for now, until we see how easy it would be to put around the big pool. But that one has a lot of, it's an odd shape. Where they came up with that, I don't know. Who designed that one? But yes, I would say that if you were gonna do that side, it would be the same way. We would do a mat kind of thing from the edges out to the, you know. from
But
out.
that might require some custom.
Yes, that would be
Some-
kind of and these companies, now with these other companies that I'm gonna talk to, they may have somebody in this area that would do installation, and if they do, that's the way to go. This company, this American Floor Mats, they just sell the product, they're just the salespeople, and they ship it from the manufacturer, and it's up to us to figure out how to put it down.
Okay, thank you.
Janice, I appreciate you getting 3 quotes or contacting 3 companies, because at that amount of money, over $25,000, that's what we're required to do, so I appreciate that. Are there any pools in the area that maybe a city pool or whatever that we could look at and see what their experience would be?
And that was one of the questions I asked this American Pool. I said, well, who else has ordered, or can I talk to somebody? And according to this guy, they don't keep those kind of, and I don't believe him, but maybe he doesn't want to, you know, give that information out, I don't know. I also got a call, when I talked to Doug, he said, call Arkansas Parks and Recreation, which is out of Little Rock, which I'm gonna do today as well, to see if they know of any place that have maybe used these tiles outside. That's what I did go online and looked at Rogers and Springdale, the pictures, and I can't tell, I saw mostly concrete. I didn't see this kind of a product down around the pools, and that's what I wanna find out. Maybe the Arkansas Parks and Recreation will be able to tell me more.
Seeing if one is available an hour away, I would be glad to go and look at it with you. Or
If I can find
somebody.
someplace, yeah.
It seems like it's a good idea. It seems like you've explained that it's a less expensive way to solve the problem. And the other question I have is, since the small pool, it doesn't seem like it's cutting people's feet and so forth. We're going to look at figures here today, really big budget, end of the year stuff. Is there any way we could do the big pool this year and hold off for this small pool next year?
Well, I'm sure
It's in the
we could.
budget.
It's in-
It is we have budgeted $30,000 for the outside to renovate the pool.
Okay.
So that has already been approved in the budget and does not require a vote. We want to keep everybody informed of what's going on, and we want to take the time to look for the options. The main reason we wanted to talk about it today was because this quote's good through the end of January. And I think we can gather some more information and maybe revisit it in the January meeting. Again, as a report, it does not require a board vote since it's already approved in the budget. Doug, you had a question?
Yes, yes, I have a question. You ever thought about pouring cement over the top of this stuff? New cement?
You'd have to really rip it all apart to pour it.
Well, why would you have to do that? You could pour cement over the top of that stuff,
And then it would be higher than the pool?
well, just a little bit, you know? Put some, you know, you do that with a lot of stuff. They just put a fiber product in it, and you pour an inch and a half right over the top.
Never
It'd
checked
be a
it.
lot less cost for a whole lot better product and to last a lot longer. Because you could put that fiber right in the cement. It's like a fiberglass, it's like a fiberglass cloth in there, but it won't cut you, and it's inside the cement. We did that at the Creston Pool, from where I, before, their cement was breaking up.
Why don't you and Janice get together and talk about that?
Yeah, well, I mean,
And-
that's an option to do.
Yes, it is, and give her some information about how to move forward with it.
Well, yeah, you just
Yeah.
have to get some contractor that you can get to
Yeah,
do it.
and that's what,
Okay, thank you.
work with her, please. Okay. Thank you, Janice, we appreciate it, and we really appreciate your hard work trying to keep everything together. And we'll revisit, if I can gather the rest of your information.
I will.
And we will revisit this.
I will find out more information from these other companies as well, and then I'll talk to Parks and Recreation, see if there's
Yeah.
anybody who's
Yeah.
done that.
Okay, great, thank you so much. One other piece of information. C.A. Johnson has submitted a bid for $28,750 to finish the kitchen, retail counter, and the granite in the bathrooms. Again, this is within the budget approved by the board. We have accepted his estimate, and this is a good solution to phase 2, and will assure that all the construction is completed at the same time. Commissioner Ralph, thank you for your willingness to take on the cabinets, and we appreciate your offer, but we're going to have the construction company go ahead and finish the room.
I have a question.
Yeah,
We are.
yes.
I have a question on that. Is that a change order to the $583,000 that was originally contracted with Johnson?
Yes, it is.
So it's addition 20, how much thousand? 23?
It is, yes, 28,700.
So Danny, when he bid, C.A. Johnson bid the job, those kitchen and so forth weren't included in the architectural drawings, finish and so forth, the countertops and the cabinets. None of that was in the original. I thought it was be a standalone product that would be, at the end of it, we'd get a certificate of occupancy and it would be all done. But then we said, no, that's not in there. But the architects never put that detail in there. Is that right?
Suzanne?
Just a point of information, the board requested that those items be taken out of the bid.
Yes.
The kitchen area.
The kitchen was taken out of the bid. So this is basically a separate agreement, a separate bid. And it's $28,750, and it's within the $30,000 that was budgeted for the kitchen.
But, so the committee that was working on it, they didn't come up with any cost, or we just turned it back over to C.A. Johnson?
Yes. And while we're talking about that building and C.A. Johnson, we talked to him, and Janice, I know you discussed the bathroom doors with him. And he is going to upgrade for free from metal doors to fiberglass doors in the bathrooms. When I spoke with him, the first thing he said was they're heavy. And we have old people and young people wanting to go in and out of those restrooms. And so it makes sense to upgrade for free to the fiberglass doors. Okay, that is the end of my reports.
You're going to action then?
We are going to old business none.
I have one, and that's the audit, state of the audit. It's December 18th. Where is our audit for HISA?
We have a draft copy of the audit here. And I think the best thing to do now is to schedule our audit review for next month put it on the agenda to approve next month and get Landmark here. We have all of the information, and we have a draft copy.
So we don't have a water study because we didn't have an audit, so now we're going to 2024 to get the 2022 audit, is that right?
That is correct.
Is that good business?
It's the business we have. You know, there's nothing we can do to look back. We had some communications problems and emails, minor snafus getting back and forth with information, but everything is complete now, and you do have the draft copy. Or Jennifer has it.
Yes.
Jennifer has a draft copy of it.
Well, Danny has done a good job of calling them, but they seem to just say, I don't know why they couldn't have come today's meeting. And it would be in the year after the end of the fiscal year.
No, it can't happen
I
that
think we
way.
need a new audit firm.
Well, I think that's something we can look into. It's not the boat to rock right now.
The water study being delayed is a big deal. It's a big
It's a
deal.
very big deal.
New business, number 1, Commissioners, you have received by email the 2023 financial statement for your approval. Do I have a motion to approve the financial statements?
You gonna discuss it?
Do you have, I need a motion first and then we discuss.
Okay. I'll move that we approve the financials.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
I will remind the commissioners, and particularly our new commissioners, a motion and a second does not imply approval. It only gets the motion on the table. So that is, that's part of the process, and it's an important part of the process. And again, it does not imply approval or disapproval, an aye or a nay vote. It just gets us talking. So is there any discussion?
Yeah, I have a comment, and that is on our hiring contractors to do work, and I complimented Janice for getting 3 quotes and 3 companies to look at the pool covering. The work that we've done and the work we've been talking about so far, I think the chief has done a good job on buying trucks by going all over the country and sending his people all over the country to drive them back and check at but the other jobs, now we don't have a bid yet for the well 5 and the pool house, or the building around it. We did go to a company for the PRVs that was local, and that's fine. But the UV system coming up, I think it says, I don't think, it's in our regulations that we get 3 bids for anything over $35,000. And I think we're gonna have to advertise in the Arkansas Democrat Gazette, because that's a statewide paper, and I don't think the companies that can do $1 million job are in Carroll County. They're in Little Rock, Fort Smith, Fayetteville, and I think we need to do a really good job, a better job of trying to get a lower price and get some of these jobs done.
It is my understanding that we can use the Arkansas-approved contractors, a company called Sourcewell, and they do not require bids because they are pre-approved by the state. So that is an option for, once we get ready to construct it. We have the loan in place, or will have, we agreed at our last meeting to accept a loan offer for a low interest rate loan from the state. And so it is in the process of getting taken care of, and we'll follow up on that.
I have a question. You know, when we talked about this $1 million well, I've been around wells with the city that I was with. We built several of these buildings. I was in the assumption we're drilling a new well for $1 million. I understand we're not. You can't tell me that a well house, we put them up ourselves. We put block buildings. We did not get an engineer to construct it. We put up a block building. Now in Nebraska, you have to put a roof that's movable because it gets 40 below zero. So your wellheads, everything is inside the building. Your chlorine building is outside, totally in another building adjacent to it. But there's no way that you can build a well house. We built them for well into the $50,000. I know we built a block building with a removable roof, and we had door going into the equipment room, and a separate door going into the chlorine, so that there wasn't any. And we had ventilators on the top, on the roofs, that ventilated the stuff out of there. You can't tell me that you're going to spend $1 million to build a well house? This must be a wet dream.
It is not just the well house.
What is it then? There's
It's all
some
the
equipment with it.
inside it.
Well, there's a few pieces of equipment.
Well,
Yeah, I think this whole thing, you throw the auditor out and build a building. You throw the architect out, build a building, put your equipment in it, find out from the guys of what equipment you need to replace or rusted out, and build and put that in it. That's all you need to do.
Mr. Barnett, right? I keep getting my name.
Oh.
Schrader,
Dan
Mr.
Schrader.
Dan Schrader.
In order to get anything approved from the state health department, anything over $20,000 has to be engineered. It has to be approved by the health department. So it has to be engineered, and it has to be approved. It doesn't matter the cost.
But the more
It doesn't-
money,
it
the
doesn't
more money
matter
those
what it costs.
engineers, the more money those engineers up this price, the more they get.
It has to be
So what you
approved.
do is you reduce their, whatever their capacity. I know, I've been through this, guys.
$20,000 and above has to be.
I understand that, but
Okay,
you can
let's-
also do the engineer and reduce what he's doing.
Anything over 20,000 has to be approved by the.
I know that.
Same with the UV system, all has to be approved. It
I
has to
understand
meet
that.
certain criteria. We can't move forward, we can't do anything until we get approval.
I understand that, but you can talk with the engineer how to bring down that cost
We are
without having.
We are breaking down the cost. We haven't, we're still in the design stage. We haven't even got anything on paper except that little drawing you had yesterday, or last week. That's all we got. It's just a conceptual drawing. We haven't
Well,
done anything yet.
I'll tell you the reason, I'm gonna take a few minutes here and talk about something. I got on this board for, and I wanna thank the voters for putting me on. I got on this board for basically a couple of reasons. I sat through about 2 or 3 meetings, 4 meetings, and I understood that, kind of what we needed to do. Holiday Island is nothing more than the commissioners are nothing more than a city council that I was on, with a mayor. The chairman's basically the mayor. So Holiday Island is a business. It's not a charity organization. And it simply is, the commissioners are really district managers. They're the districts, yes they are, they're the district's manager. You come to us with the stuff and they're really district managers, even though they're commissioners. Because on the board that I was on, please don't interrupt me, the board that I was on before, I appointed all the commissioners, which were city councilmen, I appointed the sewer, the water, as over the supervisor. We have a supervisor like Dan in every position. So if we have the council members, and you assign, say, you assign Ken to the recreation center, okay, he takes care of that. Larry, you assign Larry to the waterworks, he takes care of that, or vice versa. This is you have better hands-on, you have better to know what's going on, and secondly, 2 heads are always better than 1. And I think the people that in those departments will be appreciated that you're simply putting somebody to help them make those decisions. Well, you know, and I don't think that we need to move in a different direction than this place needs to move. We're just a business, and I think we can do a lot of things in this business. And in the water department, sewer department, recreation department, there's a lot of things I think that we could change and move forward and do just as good a job. But the chairman needs to appoint each one of those people as each one of those commissioners. Now, you need to have a public meeting maybe 2 weeks prior to every board meeting, and those commissioners can come forth and talk about what Dan and his commissioner talked about, and bring that in so we can get it on the agenda. I think those are some of the logical things. You could report that so they can report it at the next meeting.
May
Now-
I speak, please?
Yes,
We are governed by the Arkansas
and
City.
I'm just gonna go through that. I'm just gonna go through that, okay?
Move along.
Okay, now you don't, so I think we have 5 district managers already here. 5 people on this board that are basically the district's managers. Yes, we do. They are the district's managers. Because they manage each one of the whole thing, okay? So if we have those, if we don't need a district manager, because we already have, if you want a 6th district manager, what we need to do is get the agenda and let's get one voted on. We have a district manager basically in here that's not been voted on, and he's making all the calls. I don't think that's right, and I think we operate it as a business. Now that if we don't need a district manager, we need a district clerk. That would be the clerk then in the office that would do maybe an in-house audit, that would do help the other people. I think those are the things we need. We already pay that fee for those people. because we have an auditor that is in another town that is here. So we funded that, so we bring that audit here, and we come and we just have our own clerk, our own city clerk, or our district clerk, that takes care of all that auditing stuff and does the financial stuff, and then helps all the gals in the office, but she's really the office manager. So then, now that if you have that district clerk, you'll have better, big savings, because you're already paying somebody. So I think that there's more money, but now that the office, they can take care of the office staff, basically takes care of everything anyhow. It's just like the clerk staff in a city. The clerk staff arranges everything for the mayor for the meetings. So that's how we organize, and this is nothing more than a city council, is really what it is. Maybe not operated like that, but because you don't have to have basically ordinances. I don't know how the SID here was set up. You can set it up in 3 different ways. The Arkansas Governors Association says it could be did by not ordinance, but it could be did by amendments. It can be done by, you can do it by simply a procedure vote or an up or down vote. You can change those procedures, and we need to change those procedures.
Okay.
But I'm not done yet. The big savings, I think, if we don't have a district manager, is $150,000 plus a year that we can put into the budget. It's not necessary to pay the commissioners, but if that's the case, we have to pay them at sometime $100 a month. I mean, the board I was on before, we paid $800 a year to the board members, because they have to put out some effort. And if that's the case later on, we do that. But I think the key, that would cost very little money. I think this business of, depending on the policy changes and the administration, I think that the city would need to, which would be the district would need to, you wouldn't need to have ordinances, you just need to rewrite how you do things. I think you bring, the long and short of it is, I think you save a lot of money, because I think these members of the commissioners are certainly well enough and probably know more about the day-to-day activities than does, say, if you hire a new district manager. And I would say, Danny, would you say that's not correct?
I'm assuming you want an honest answer.
Yes.
I've been in local government 35 years, and I believe your idea would be a train wreck.
I believe
honestly.
I've been in local government for longer than that.
Okay.
So I don't believe it's a train wreck. I think it's a big savings. We can't just keep spending taxes, spend. And I think that's where this board, if we keep doing that, it's gonna head. It's tax and spend. The more you tax, the more you spend. And I think that's wrong. I think we need to stop that and bring back that. And I think we take the budget, bring it up next month's meeting, get that stuff out of there that we said that we didn't need, and let's go from there. Let's reorganize that 2024 budget. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, go ahead. Or not. First, no. Let's get this taken care of, and then we'll get back to your question. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
You cannot come in here the first meeting and attempt to completely reorganize things that are governed by the state of Arkansas.
You can
The
change
city-
those things.
Why? The idea that you would make a commissioner a department manager is not the way we are allowed to function by law. It
That's
is,
not right.
it most certainly is.
No.
We are required to have an elected board right here. We are elected by the people to oversee the the financial responsibility. The district manager is hired by the board
I
to
understand
run
that.
the day-to-day operations. It is the law. And when you start fooling with the regulations, but what's it gonna cost us to pay somebody to rewrite the regs? We can't do that arbitrarily on our own.
Well, you,
And I would
an ordinance,
suggest.
when you change an ordinance in a city, you have to have 3 readings, okay?
I get
But you
that.
don't have ordinances.
Let's stop
You just
and
asked me
get
a
some
question.
business done. I understand. But this is, you need, I don't know how to say it. We simply have to, we have a board that passed a budget. We are not going to bring in a new budget in 2024 and rewrite it. We had an elected board of commissioners who made decisions for 2023.
We could alter that
I,
budget.
ask your question to Dan first, please.
Dan, appreciate you being here and your expertise. Where you were before in your career, would a building and a project like this, even though it's years later, would it cost, in your opinion, $1 million for this project? $1 million.
Well,
Because before, we're looking at 700,000, I think it was. I've been on the board a long time, and it was not $1 million until about 3 months ago.
you're looking at age differences. I mean, I've been to plants that are, you know, water, well house, that's well over $2 million.
Okay.
I've been to ones that are $5 million,
Wow.
but it just depends. I
But
mean,
it is not doing anything with the well itself, like we repaired well 1 for 100,000, was it?
this doesn't have nothing to do with the well. I'm sure most of you've been there. I don't know, maybe you haven't.
Yeah.
The well is fine. The well is new.
Okay.
It's the internals. It's all the controls, it's the booster pumps we have to get the water up there. It's very detailed. The pumps are low. The pump, just the pump, is about $60,000, $70,000.
Good.
We got 2 of them. That's just the pump. That's not the motor, that's not the controls, that's not the SCADA system, that's not the chlorine, and the way the prices are going, they just keep going up and up and up.
Good.
For chlorine parts, that has substantially gone up. O-ring for one of the injectors is $40. It's an O-ring. It's specific to that chlorine you have to have.
So what I'm hearing you say, Dan,
Cost
is
or cost.
you're gonna work with Jeff and the engineering company SI and try to get us the best deal that we can at the lowest price to
I mean,
meet our needs.
that's what we're doing right now. We're having drawings, and we're looking at it. I mean, we don't have anything on paper yet. I mean,
All right.
we budgeted that number, but that's,
Did
we
he
don't
give
know. We
you,
didn't even get bids. Maybe it's even gonna be more.
do you have an idea of when you might be finished with that? And
No, that'd be answered by ESI. I mean, right now, it's same as it was 2 weeks ago. Got a conceptual drawing on a piece of paper, that's it.
And what's your question on the financials, please?
Well, the financials are, I've gotten 4 calls since we raised the assessment by $50. 2 of them were for fixed income residents here. They said, how come you're raising rates? I don't have a problem with myself, and that's why I voted for the increase in assessment from $780 for a home. But I do have concern, and 2 of the other people said, I object to this, but, and I explained to them, we haven't raised rates for like 8 years, I believe it was. And just look at your budget for your family, what's happened. Buy a car, I just bought a car a while ago. It's not what it was 8 years ago. But at any rate, now we're spending $330,000 on golf equipment. They said, how come you raised everybody in Holiday Island $50, but you're going out and spending for mowers and computerized sprinkling systems? They were very upset, very upset. And I have to ask the same question. And by the way, we didn't get 3 bids for that. We had 2 fellows come in black shirts and pass out a pamphlet. And that's the competition we got for those products. So I think we've got to do a better job of saving our money, spending it wisely, and not spending it with just the first come along person.
Our discussion at the budget meeting on the equipment And our decision was to budget 220-some thousand and to go to 3 banks, which we have done, to get bids for loans to purchase the equipment outright. Those bids are not due back yet, and we will coordinate, we will get those bids when they arrive and make a decision as to how we want to proceed. I will say, and you're a golfer, and you live here, and you want it to look good and to continue to be profitable. And if we don't have decent, we're getting golfers from all over because of the improvements that Tyler and John before him did to our golf course. Our outside play is up dramatically, and that has to be maintained.
I agree, but I think one of the residents that spoke last week at our meeting, for the last meeting we had, said there are wants and needs. I know we want a computerized sprinkling system, and we want new mowers that are electrified EV vehicles, but do we need them? Is it absolutely necessary, or could we wait a year? Maybe get the sprinkling system 1 year and the mowers another year.
The
That's the way I do my
irrigation system is not in the budget.
Pardon?
The irrigation system is not in the budget.
What are we borrowing 330 for, then 320?
The 2 mowers and a utility vehicle and a sprayer.
Well, I don't know what you call great golf course, but I'm gonna tell you, I've golfed for near 50 years. This golf course has decent greens, not great, but decent. The fairways are like cow pastures. This guy hasn't watered the fairways, we don't have grass, and if you're gonna be a $150,000 sprayer to spray dirt, is that what you're talking about? Ma'am, I'm telling you, this golf course, your unique appearance is more, by far, more important than anything. And it appears right now, there is no grass in the fairways because you need to overseed, you need to water, and you need to last year I don't think they had to mow the fairways, but maybe once or twice. All it was little skims of seed coming up and getting your way when you're golfing. They don't have fairways, it's cow pasture.
It's
So we
rock
need
is
to,
what it is.
well, no, it's
It's
cow
not
pasture,
even
there's
as
no
good as
grass
cow
growing on
pasture.
them, because you don't water them. You need to water at least
Okay.
once every couple of days.
All right.
Get the sprinkler system working.
That's,
Forget that equipment, it's not gonna happen.
okay, thank you. Okay, I'm lost.
I think you were asking about accepting the November financials.
Thank you.
It was on the table.
Yes.
I don't know where we're
Ken, do you
going.
have questions about the financials?
Why do you keep track?
No, I
Does,
don't.
does anyone have any questions about the financials? Does anyone in the audience, in the public wish to rise and
Never
speak for or
seen it.
against the financials? The month-end financials?
I would just say, are we not gonna get to see them?
No, we are not.
How the hell would you have a question?
Well, okay then. All in favor of approving the month-end financials, say aye. Opposed?
Aye.
The financials are not approved. We will carry that, we will carry that over to the next meeting
Why can't we see them on the screen for the public and the board?
because they're not prepared.
They're not, how can you prove it?
I have them. You want to look?
Why didn't we get them?
To look them over and approve them. So,
You did get them, there was an email.
They were sent to the board last week.
Well, you can't read, I can get you my phone out, you can't read the emails on the phone. Everything's all crumbled together.
yeah, that's why I use my.
So it's a joke, sending those out.
Sir, they're done by a professional accountant.
Well, I guarantee you, they must not be very professional. If they're, you want me to go get my phone, you tell me if you can read it.
Well,
Okay, let's,
Doug,
Move
in regard to
we're
They were
going to
sent
move
out.
on.
and I printed mine off, and I'm sure anytime that they send them out, if you would stop by this office, they would give you a hard copy of it, be glad to do that. And then
I
that
got
way, that,
I got that, I stopped by and got some hard copies, but
Okay.
not
Okay.
that.
Okay. Well, this, again, we will move the financials over to next month. Item number 2. Yes, please. If you have something to say, you're always welcome to jump in.
For the year 2023, there was an interlocal agreement done with the city for road maintenance. In the agreement, it is noted that the city, the district conveyed a percentage of roads to the city. I believe it was around 6%. And so 6% of whatever the roads budget is will be contributed to HICID from the city. And this is simply a continuation of that agreement. I think the amount is around $26,000 for 2024.
Thank you. We do have a question, and it is to approve the 2024 interlocal agreement with the City of Holiday Island for road maintenance. Do I have a motion to consider the question?
I'll move to consider the question.
I'll second that.
This agreement is a renewal of the existing agreement and applies to the 71 miles of road, 5.9%, that have been accepted by ordinance as the City of Holiday Island roads. These belong to the city. The city will contribute a prorated amount of $23,990,000 to the roads department. And at this time, I have a copy of an email from Mayor Dan Keyes. The State Aid to Streets Committee met on December 6th and approved 99 of 146 requests. Unfortunately, ours was not one of them. We will keep our request for consideration next year, and we want to submit a new request. The city and HICID will continue to work with our respective attorneys to formulate a plan to use our street fund money. And now,
Thank you.
is there any discussion?
Danny, I want to thank you for working with Mayor Dan Keyes all the time you've been here, but I think the two of you work well together. We've got, I think, 4 of our city council members sitting right in the front row here this morning, and they are a great bunch of people. Many of them have sat at this desk before, and I would like to see a closer cooperation and a couple of meetings in 2024 with the city council. We've got issues like the police department or the deputies that they've taken over, and that really is appreciated. Dan, with your law enforcement background, I know you had a lot to do with that, and still ongoing, trying to hire a second deputy, I guess. The other thing is fire. You've come up with money for a fire department. I know the chief appreciates that. And there's other things that we can do, but a couple of the board members that I talked to, council members, said, Ken, you guys have to lower your spending so that we can come up with some money like the roads, like fire department, like the other things. That if they get, let's pull out a figure, 600,000. If the city is able to get that much money from all the ways that you can get that, and that's why I voted for the city, then they can dedicate some of that for the needs of all of Holiday Island, and that's what they're doing. But we can't continue to just spend, and then try to offset it with their money, because that's their money. I don't know if I'm explaining that, what I'm meaning, but I think we've done a good job, and I think that to have some coordination, just get 12 people around this table. There's a big table, and it'll be a workshop. We can chat about some things. Hawk Drive and State Line are great roads, great roads. How do we do that? $600,000 grant that the chair just mentioned. That was 2 years ago. Perfect, and it's done by a company outside. They did everything right, and that's what we go again for next year maybe. So thank you, Danny, and thank the mayor.
Anyone else with discussion about this interlocal agreement with the city? Mr. Pinkley?
No, I don't.
I think that we have to work with the city. It's imperative in any way that we possibly can.
Yes.
There needs to be better communication, yes, but, you know, that things fall through the cracks without better communication, and that's just something we have to strive for, and that's a goal.
Well,
So,
I
let's try it.
Yeah, thank you. And again, I appreciate the close cooperation that the district manager and the mayor have had in getting all of this together for us to then consider it. And we have a good working relationship with the city council and the mayor, and I'd certainly like to see that continue. Does anyone in the audience wish to speak in favor or in opposition to the motion to approve the interlocal agreement? Commissioners, are you ready for the motion? The motion is consideration action to approve the 2024 interlocal agreement with the City of Holiday Island for road maintenance. All those in favor of the agreement, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it, and the agreement is accepted. Business item number 3, consideration action to approve a 2024 interlocal agreement with the City of Holiday Island to provide fire protection services. The question is to approve the interlocal agreement. Do I have a motion to consider the question?
So moved.
Seconded by?
I'll second.
You're grateful to the City of Holiday Island for allocating $50,000 to the fire department. The funds will be used to upgrade the radio system and purchase new radios. Thank you, Mayor and City Council. And Chief Yates, would you give us a brief update on what you're going to do with this lovely money they've given us?
Certainly.
Christmas check.
Communication is very important, as Mr. Stamps just pointed out, and it's never more true than when you're in a deep valley, trying to get on the radio to the ambulance, let them know they need to speed up. Fortunately, our county, with the efforts of Mr. Jack Deaton, the Justice of the Peace, and several other members of our court and our county judge, have gifted Holiday Island, more or less, and the rest of the county with a new radio system. The new antenna's in place. We're going to be visiting the Radio Shack at 1 o'clock this afternoon to look at the upgrades, and the digital system will go online hopefully around March. The downside to it is we have to provide the radios for the vehicles and for our firefighters. We have 15 truck radios that we need, about 35 staff radios, 5 base stations, and some portables for miscellaneous use, to the tune of roughly 60 radios. Unfortunately, like everything else, electronics cost a lot, especially when you start getting into electronics that meet all the federal standards to allow us to be eligible for grants in the future. A new radio now, these are the inexpensive ones, are $3,000 a piece. That's a lot of money. So with the aid of the city's assistance, we'll be able to upgrade a good number of our radios. The county is also pitching in a few, as are the rural fire district, and we're also working with the ambulance district to try to provide us a few radios as well. Al Selick, I just put a lot of pressure on you there, sorry.
Yeah, thanks for mentioning that.
We do appreciate the city's willingness to help with funding this radio system upgrade.
Thank you, Chief Yates. Any discussion from the commissioners?
Yes, Chief, I know this is the last meeting of the year, a week to Christmas. Are there any other needs that you have identified in since the last meeting about ISO or any other things that you think are important for financials?
Not this time. There will always be future needs, I'm certain. But at the moment, we are on track for what we need for 2024. And I'm grateful to the Board of Commissioners for adding additional part-timers to help supplement our volunteers and for allowing us some money for changes to the station. The big push with the new equipment and the trucks has already paid off in spades, and we appreciate your support. Thank you.
Were you able to hire those part-timers?
I have most of them in place on the January schedule, and I have 2 more to interview.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone wish to speak in favor or opposed to the motion from the public? Commissioners, are you ready for the motion? The motion is consideration action to approve a 2024 interlocal agreement of the City of Holiday Island to provide fire protection services. All those in favor of the agreement, please say aye.
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 Opposed? The ayes have it, and the motion is carried. We will now turn to the election of the HISA Board of Commissioners for office for 2024. By regulation, officers may only serve for 1 year in a given position. We will entertain nominations for the 2024 officers. First, for chairman, are there any motions? Are there any nominations for chair?
I nominate Larry Stamps as chair.
I'll second that.
Who was that, please?
Larry Stamp.
No, you. I didn't
Yes.
look up to see who's.
Yes,
Dan.
Doug.
Doug, thank you. Are there any other nominations? With no more nominations, all those in favor of Larry Stamps for chair, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Mr. Stamps has been elected for the, as chairman of the board for 2024. Our next nomination is for vice chair. Are there any nominations for vice chair?
Nominate Randy Ralph.
I'll second it.
Commissioner Pinkley has nominated Randy Ralph. It has been it has been seconded by Commissioner Brown. Do I have any other nominations? With no more nominations, all those in favor of Mr. Ralph for vice chair, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Randy Ralph has been elected vice chair of the Board of Commissioners for 2024. Our last position is for secretary. Are there any nominations for secretary?
I would like to nominate Doug Pinkley.
I'll second that.
And that was you, Randy. I'm sorry. Commissioner Stamps nominates Commissioner Pinkley for secretary, and it was seconded by Mr. Ralph. Do we have any other nominations? With no more nominations, all those in favor of Mr. Pinkley for secretary, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Mr. Pinkley has been elected to the board for 2024 as secretary. Congratulations and good luck to our new officers. At this time, we will conduct an executive session to discuss the hiring of a new district manager and the board will now adjourn to the conference room. At the conclusion of the executive session, we will reopen the regular meeting and report the results.